Bonjour à tous. Merci encore une fois pour ceux qui nous ont rejoints entre-temps de votre temps pour ce webinaire aujourd'hui et d'être aussi nombreux. Nous allons parler donc aujourd'hui de la partie sécurisation de l'environnement de travail, Workspace Security. Et je suis accompagné de Ariel Merzer, Email Security Engineer, et Alexei Beloglazov sur la partie Endpoint, Architect and Associates. En ce qui concerne l'agenda d'aujourd'hui, très dense, on va parler de beaucoup de choses très intéressantes sur la partie, donc, dans un premier temps, harmonie, email et collaboration. On va parler de la console de quarantaine, de la partie des marques SPF et des KIM, la partie formation, tout le système de awareness, ce qu'on peut proposer à vos différents utilisateurs. Dans un second temps, on va adresser de manière un peu plus approfondie la partie endpoint, protection du poste de travail, les différentes versions, la gestion de la quarantaine également, et comment utiliser, tester les solutions sur la partie endpoint. Enfin, dans un troisième temps, on va parler de la sécurisation de la navigation avec nos solutions Harmony Browse. Merci Ariel. Alors, sur cette slide-là, on va parler également des recommandations du Gartner pour juste vous dire en préambule qu'on est aligné à la vision du Gartner sur l'année 2026, sur les plans du Gartner, sur différents points, sur la partie management consolidé avec Gen AI, incident response, avec la threat intelligence bien sûr derrière, les politiques et les possibilités de reporting et de rapport. Et nos produits répondent à l'ensemble des différents points adressés par le Gartner, qui sont aujourd'hui adressés par l'ensemble de nos solutions avec une différenciation de notre côté, une installation assez simple, la partie hyper automation, donc l'automatisation qui est très importante, et l'ADN de Checkpoint qui est notamment la prévention et la réduction des incidents. Je vais passer donc la main à Ariel pour commencer sur la partie email and collaboration. Merci.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Ariel Melzer. I'm the group manager for the email security in EMEA. And the email security at Checkpoint is for the last 4 years after the acquisition of Avanan. And since then, you can see that the amount of customer grow rapidly, as you can see on the left side, and we already reached over 50,000 customers. If you're looking at different third-party analyst reviews, Geocom, Forrester, Gartner, etc., you will see that we are leaders in all 7 third-party analyst review. In order to understand why this is so important, why we made it to be leaders, I will take you through a short journey through the evolution of the email security. So as we all know, we usually had a security email gateway that was sitting on the way of the email to the end user. It was with the old on-prem servers, on-prem exchange, but this has changed when Microsoft introduced the cloud email with that cloud email security by Microsoft, if it's Defender, or by other solution. It made the email that reaching the mailbox, being checked by some solutions, but not all the solution can see what's going inside the cloud. Not all the solution can protect you the right way. An API-based solution that emerged, those are checking the email after it's landed in the mailbox. The unique solution that Checkpoint providing, and that's what we call the revolution in email security, is that we have it in line through the Mailflow rules in a way that the Harmony will check the email before it's reaching the end user. And by that, we can prevent email that have indication of compromise from reaching the end user. So the end user is more secure with Harmony, email, and collaboration. We are fully unified with Microsoft, that giving us the ability to see what Microsoft misses. And in order to understand what does it entail, we will look to see here. So when we're looking at the unified quarantine management, we can see that on the right-hand side, we're telling you who it was quarantined by. So this is the list of the quarantine items. And on the right side, we see who quarantined them, Checkpoint, Microsoft, or an admin. We're looking into what Microsoft quarantine, and you can see here that it's looking to see and scan from the Microsoft quarantine, because that way we can double check what Microsoft have done with the email, but we can also let you know later if we find different verdict. The end user will get a unified reporting and a daily digest. He doesn't need to see too many emails coming about quarantine emails. And he can take actions from those emails. We can create a way to action it from the email itself. Is it release the email from quarantine or request release from an admin? Those things are configurable as you would like to have it in your organization. When we see that we detected something that Microsoft didn't, we detected as clean and Microsoft didn't find it as clean because they found it as phishing or spam or malware, but we, with our engine, found it as clean, we can give you an automated way to restore the email from a quarantine, and by that, really take the burden from the SOC team handling things. So no more tickets for lost emails due to Microsoft misdetection when they putting it in junk or in quarantine. We will rescan them, and we will then be able to restore it and redirect it to the inbox. We found in different POCs and with different customers that there is no time wasted for the end user, and there is no help desk request that coming and cluttering the IT department. In order to be more efficient, we're looking into use analyst automatic pilot, meaning that when a quarantine restore request coming, or when the user is reporting something as phishing, we will analyze the email and we will reevaluate verdicts using the Threat Cloud AI. Threat Cloud AI is the biggest threat data lake that collect all the information that Checkpoint devices finding across the world. And I was told that we see more than 33%, so third of the worldwide communication through our system, and that giving us a better and accurate detection rates than others. So with this reevaluating verdict, we can take actions according to the configurable workflows. And if we find it clean, delivery to the inbox. If we find it as malicious, to quarantine it. And if the verdict is inconclusive, only then we will send it to the admin for manual review. And by that, we can reduce 95% in the help desk ticket that are created and save time for the end user, because some of the requests will be handled immediately, including respond to the email themselves. More features that we have which are unique to us are rewriting links everywhere, not only in the email body as other solutions do. We rewrite the links also in the attachment. We can then open the PDF, and when the link is in the PDF, it will be protected as well and will be analyzed before the user click on that. QR code that been recently in the peak are also something that we will be able to look and check. And if I'll jump to an example here, you can see that in this email, where we see that it found clean by Microsoft Defender, it was found phishing by Checkpoint. There's also the enforcement flow that telling you the way that the email came. So Microsoft would have delivered it to the inbox. Checkpoint found it and quarantined it, so the end user never received it. And our click time protection replaced link in it and analyzed them as well. We can see that the links were also a QR code link. So we're giving here a summary of the security stack that we found. If we scroll further down, we can see that our AI model overview found it 91% as phishing or dangerous, and therefore it stopped it. And we can click further down, and you can see here that there was a link, security spot now, and the link been analyzed, but there was also a QR code, and I can click on the analyze, and you can see that the embedded image here was a one that hidden QR code in it, or a link behind a QR code, which is flagged malicious by our smart URL reputation. If you click on that, it will show you that it was going to LinkedIn with a login page of LinkedIn, trying to harvest the credential of the end user. I can review the email body and see what there is actually there. And you can see here that it was sent to me, securing the future EMEA Cyber Leaders Roundtable. And it had a link, as we said, and the image is the QR code that you saw. So usually I would probably open that just to see what LinkedIn sent it to me. More innovation came, or more feature came with our solution, and that's the DMARC, SPF, and DKIM management. In order to understand the domain mail authentication reporting and conference, it's important to understand that when a sender sending email, like the one we saw before from LinkedIn, we need to verify that it's actually coming from LinkedIn. And for that, DMARC help us, because the sender using an IP, which is allowed probably by his SPF, and it's reaching the servers of our solution. And when we're looking into that, we will check with the DNS to see if the DKIM key and the SPF records are set correctly. And what else is in the DNS is the DMARC policy. And the DMARC policy is very important that you will have it embedded or set in your system, because that's giving more assurance of the authentication of the email. And the SPF and DKIM will either pass or fail, and accordingly, we can either deliver the email or reject the email in quarantine. It's been for a while, SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, but the importance of having that now embedded is because now Microsoft, Google, and Yahoo started to enforce it, and they will not allow email that are not having on the DMARC record on the sender domain. And that's in order to make sure that who sends you the email is actually the right person. If we'll look into examples of what we can do with DMARC, we can show you an overview. So first, it will tell you how easy it is to set the DMARC management and guide you what you need to add to your DNS record. And then it will provide you on a map where are the countries that are sending the email to you. It will show you on a graph who are the top sending domain on your behalf. It could be SandGrid, it could be Salesforce, it could be Microsoft, it could be others. It will tell you the top domain that succeeds. It will give you a graph here where you can drill down to see what is the policy. So this policy is reject, this policy is none, meaning that when email coming from this domain, actually no action need to be taken. But if they're coming from that domain, it will take actions. We do have the SPF management where we can manage and make sure that everything is set in the right record. And it's easy to do with 3 steps. I will touch that later. Why is it so important that we will look into setting the DMARC? Because if the attacker managed to trick us or take the credential that we have, or just send a wire transfer or account access when he's impersonating, then it's one thing. But when a credential is leaked, when there is credential harvesting, like you saw in my LinkedIn example, which I probably would have put my username, which is my email, and my password, and I know not to use the same password in different services and different platforms, but many of my friends are still using the same password. My father used the same password across all his access to things, and when he need to change it, it's very annoying. But the importance of keeping your password correct, the importance of keeping whatever you do on the web is that we want to help you and protect you from business email compromise account. So the system is actually looking to see what the user action are happening and from where and when. So we're looking to see when you are sending email from the office, when you are sending email from the home. How many email are you sending? Are you logging in from abroad? Maybe you're on business trip. Are you occasionally making password resets every month, every week, every quarter? And all of that information will create a behavior baseline using also some indicators of the IP addresses or the locations. And we will know then what is your baseline for the regular behavior. And if you're traveling somewhere, we might see logging from other places. We might see impossible travel when you log in once from Paris and the other day from New York or from Singapore. So those impossible travel indicating that multiple access have happened to your account. Maybe multiple password reset, maybe use of a browser for the first time or a VPN for the first time, or suspicious mailbox rule. All of those things will indicate that the account might be compromised, and today we can block that automatically according to the configuration you're setting in the system. The importance that I'm going to speak now about is when there are anomaly behavior that we're finding not within a Harmony email and collaboration, but actually externally in the dark web where credentials are leaked. So we can block the user even before an account takeover is happening, and we can stop the risk that you currently have with those accounts. This is bringing me to talk about the add-on features of external risk management. And the importance of it is that without us knowing, there is a lot of happening in the deep web and in the dark web. And data is being collected through different phishing attempts, breaches, stealing credential, leaked personal information or financial data, credit card. I mean, there was for BA 3 years ago, there was a big breach, and tens of thousands of passport details, credit card information, and personal information were leaked. So we can protect you with HEC from within the organization. But the ERM that protecting you from outside the organization, giving you the ability to look at different things And for example, if we detect a user that exposed credential was found with password on Facebook, for example, we can then block it immediately and decide to reset the password and take actions. We can also see what credentials were leaked in the up to last 6 months. So you can see that that was Ash that was on Facebook and his credential was leaked to forums, social media, network, and phishing attempts. And the dangerous in that is I will then be able, with those credentials, either to trick people through Facebook or other social media, or if it was his account to Google, I can then impersonate him, but actually not impersonate him. I'm using his identity. I'm using his email with no need to impersonate him, with no need to use a different email address or a different server. I'm logging into his own server, and by that, I'm making the risk of reaching other people in the organization much bigger. In order to make sure that the users in the organizations are staying up to date, we added security awareness training. In 2 modules, there is the component of phishing simulation, where we will send examples of phishing, and training to make sure that they're understanding the dangerous in that and how to detect different attempts of phishing. If I'm looking at a phishing simulation, our solution has 0 deliverability issues because we're using a unique way of sending the phishing emails to the users. We're also personalizing them, and we're doing it based on deep understanding on each individual user, the department that they belong to, the task that they have, and the title that they have. And that's from learning of his patterns in the email. We can automatically brand the email that's coming in the phishing simulation to be with the right color. So if it's coming from Carrefour, or if it's coming from a Shell, or if it's coming from any other brand that you have, it will know to take the color palette and take the logo of your brand. And it will send email, for example, this coming from Microsoft, so it's using the same color that Microsoft using for the Office 365, and sending an email to reactivate the access. If the user will click on that, he will get, you should have not clicked on this link. We can also embed a QR code in the email to teach the user and to understand and give him the understanding that those are dangerous as well. So we will look at the sender display name, we look at the attack theme, and what we will do based on the malicious email that was sent, we will create a simulated attack that look very similar, but it's clear to use. I want to take you and show you what we have here from the training and awareness. So in our dashboard, we can see how many training been assigned and what is the compliance level. And when we want to create a policy, we can decide who it will belong to, so who it's applied to. Is it all users or just a specific group? And we can prioritize the attack past example that we see for the user. And we can generate phishing sample simulation and choose from them. We can decide how often to send it, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, depend on the requirement and which day in the week we think is the best. So we can choose which day to send it, probably not the weekends. And we can give more information about how many failure we're allowing him to have and what is the duration that we want it to be completed. And if he didn't click on anything within a week, we will then know that he didn't click. We want also see that he's reporting those emails. In the training modules, we have, you can see 22 different modules here, and they are all translated to different languages. So if you look at the phishing awareness, for example, he will ask me to connect, and it will show you what phishing email I need to look at, and it will give it in the different languages that we do support, and I can resume my training, and I can see that I probably need to go back because so it will both talk in French and also have the subtitle if needed. And we have many other solutions here, movies that can be used, QR code, as we said, malware awareness. And if I'm touching malware awareness, I just want to show you what happened when we detect an email that Microsoft Defender found as clean, but we found that there is a malicious content in that zip file. And when we're analyzing the attachment, we can click on View Report and see the report of the email that there was actually backdoor and Trojan in it with high confidence and a critical level. It's in the executable that were in this zip, and it's giving you more information here. So we looked at the different examples of the phishing awareness with a quiz, a gamified quiz at the end, and some final quiz to reach the point that you successfully completed that. I will stop here and let Alexei continue with his part of the endpoint security. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ariel. Je vais partager mon écran. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Je m'appelle Alexei. On va continuer en anglais. Désolé. I'm an endpoint security architect covering lots of countries, including France and Middle East and Eastern Europe, etc. And also, I basically work as the associate product manager. So I take part in those decisions, how the solution should evolve. And it's important to emphasize that, of course, email security, corporate email security, Office 365 in general, it's not only about email, it's also about Teams and SharePoint and OneDrive and Slack and many other things. It's super important because email remains the main attack vector, but eventually attackers will try to find their way, and the endpoint is the last line of defense. So the main values that we provide with Harmony endpoint is, first of all, consolidation, because we have so many different engines protecting from different angles your workspace, your laptops, your workstations, your servers. And we cover all the different areas in just one single modular agent, so you don't have to manage multiple solutions. But even more importantly, we focus on prevention and we focus on automated response. So you avoid and stop most of the incidents from even happening before your organization is impacted, and you will completely automate response, minimizing the time to respond in your security operations. Also, many organizations, they don't have too many people working 24/7 addressing those alerts. So we always act one step ahead, and we do it automatically. So the first area is, of course, to reduce the attack surface. There we have different security controls, starting from compliance and firewall and application control, moving to vulnerability scanning. So you can scan on daily basis the operational system, the applications installed on top of that operational system, and you can automatically patch them, reducing the ways how attackers can penetrate your computers. Then we have disk encryption and external media control and encryption, which is very useful for laptops. People work remotely. You don't want, if that laptop is stolen or lost, the data to leak. You don't want users to easily extract sensitive information from your environment and share it with somebody using external media. Then it comes to things like URL filtering. Of course, you would like to control which websites they visit. And then we move to the area of zero-day protection technologies. Ariel has already elaborated on phishing protection. So we can block phishing emails, we can rewrite links, we can replace QR codes. But what if a phishing link comes from a different source? From personal email, from a Teams, from a WhatsApp group, from a QR code on some conference, etc. What if your user is browsing internet and downloads a bunch of malicious files without even touching their emails? So we have browser protection, and I'm gonna deep dive into that in a bit. Of course, also covering DLP and covering GenAI control, and I'm gonna show you a live demo how it looks like. Then we have to admit that many attacks, they don't even touch neither email nor browser. They just happen. They can be a lateral movement between multiple machines using some vulnerability. There is an external media. There are all sorts of also all sorts of smuggling the malicious code onto your computers, encrypted, obfuscated, etc. And when a file hits the disk, or when a process starts, when a script starts to run, when your machine is talking to some external resource, we have all sorts of file and behavior protections. So there we come to the area of EDR, endpoint detection and response. There are different detection engines. I'm going to show some of them today. But it's important when we detect that your machine is compromised, there is some malicious activity happening on it, or there is a malicious file that we've just blocked, it's not enough just to send you an alert like many other competitors do. It's not enough just to give you a forensic report or give you some beautiful trees in the UI. We are working hard to actually automate the complete incident response. So the moment we detect an attack, our solution automatically analyzes what's going on, understands all the boundaries of the attack, all the processes involved, all the elements of it, and it automatically cleans it. It does it before you open the UI. It doesn't before you open the alert and take a look. So if your user or server is attacked in the middle of the night, Friday evening, and you just open this alert on Monday morning, it's okay, because we have already cleaned it and we provide you all the evidence and all the analytics so you can take a look and review. And if you do it this way, majority of attacks don't even happen because we reduced the attack surface, because we prevented so many of them in email before even delivery. But also those which do happen, they get automatically treated. So you have now extra time to do hunting, to look for additional interesting behaviors, to read research articles, to look for something else, to analyze what we have to say from external risk management perspective, and maybe take a look back in your infrastructure if there are any signs of potential invasion, etc. And of course, the solution is integrated with Checkpoint Infinity XDR, as well as email security. All our solutions in Checkpoint portfolio are integrated with XDR, so you can now orchestrate and automate not just on the level of email or endpoint separately, but you can unify and you can consolidate all the security operations. To make sure that our customers can safely and easily use our solution because you see it has so many different security engines, it protects from different angles. We have invested a lot this year into operational excellence. It starts with the performance of the client itself. It's now boosted and we continue improving it over time. You can see that our customers are gradually upgrading to the new versions and they are adopting the new clients which don't consume too much CPU or RAM and they run smoothly. So we significantly boosted and improved user experience, but also we improved the security administrator experience because we've just introduced the new centralized quarantine management, which allows you to review all the files which were quarantined across all your machines in one place. You can fetch them to the management, or you can fetch them to your customer FTP. You can analyze those files in your security operations center. If for some reason you think it's a false positive, you can release them at once across multiple machines and many different files at once. So we make your life much easier and you spend less time on those security operations. We also have a concept which is called push operation. So whenever you ask your machine, please self-isolate, please scan the disk with antivirus, please provide a forensic report based on my threat hunting finding. Please give me the process dump. Please give me the search and fetch files on the disk. Those are called push operations, basically tasks that you put on your computers and the agents have to deliver what they ask for. So now we have a new revamped user interface, admin interface for this tool, and you have very nice and simple flows how you can create these tasks so you can operate in a more effective fashion. We have introduced additional EDR capabilities. For example, in some cases, when you have an incident and, of course, automatic cleaning is still there, and for example, you would like to isolate the machine, etc. But also, in many cases, you would like to get the full memory dump of processes involved into the attack. So we can get you that dumps. We can even get you the dump of entire memory of the impacted machine, and there is a new push operation for that. Users who use disk encryption, so we can manage Microsoft BitLocker, but on Windows we also have a much more secure mechanism which is called full disk encryption. So now you can unlock your computer without the assistance of your help desk. You can just scan QR code. Of course, the same MFA should have been set up beforehand, before you need to unlock it. But now you have this mechanism, so you no longer you have to call help desk, tell them one-time challenge passwords, etc., and you can easily unlock your computer and continue working. When is it needed? For example, when a user accidentally logged their account, typed the password in the wrong way 3 times, etc. There are situations when it's required. The important thing, full disk encryption boots a small operational system before the main disk is decrypted and before you see the Windows login. So it's a much more secure mechanism, and if the computer is lost or stolen, there is no way how an attacker can get access to the data on it. So we talked about performance of the client. We talked about security, excellence, and efficiency when it comes to the management. And now let's go back to the basis. Even before you decide to start your journey with Harmony Endpoint, you typically go through a POC. So we thought how we could make your POC much easier, how you can easily deploy the solution and how you can see the value, how you can test all these security capabilities that I've just presented. And this is their new architecture. You have the cloud management on Infinity Portal in European Union, so you are GDPR compliant. You are deploying several agents on your production machines. Usually those are machines of security administrators and IT administrators participating in the POC, maybe some business users, but you don't really want to run malicious code on them during the POC, correct? So you can test, for example, preventive capabilities, phishing, download prevention, of course, DLP, GenAI Protect, etc. But you don't really want to run malicious scripts and see the full forensic and EDR capabilities. So for that reason, we can provide you with a ready-to-use environment for a week or two with ready-to-use virtual machines and already pre-installed some test tools. And you can, of course, bring your own tools as well. For example, we have CheckMe, we have phishing websites examples, and we have the Invoke Atomic framework. It's a well-known red team pen tester framework, which you can use on those machines, and you can see how Harmony endpoint detects it, blocks it, investigates, and automates the incident response. So you can showcase, and if you are a customer, you can verify how different detection engines work. What is the value that they provide? What is the user experience? What is the admin experience? All of the cycle of protection. Now let me try to show you how it looks like. So this is the cloud share environment with 3 machines, 1 Active Directory controller, and 2 protected machines. On this machine in particular, we have disabled majority of reputational protections. No reputation, no signatures, no static analysis, mostly behavioral analysis focused on EDR capability, so you can actually see it. And you have this nice menu powered by Invoke Atomic Red Team framework, where you have different techniques and tactics from MITRE on different stages of the attack: execution, persistence, privilege escalation, credentials harvesting, defense evasion, very important to make sure that EDR is not easy to evade, and access to credentials, exfiltration of data, and of course ransomware attack, so you can see how we can protect from all of that. And then you can just run those tests, clicking these simple links. We will automatically run the PowerShell commands. If needed, we will elevate privileges. Like here, you can see that this particular technique, it should be used under an administrator. And then you can see that behavioral guard nicely detects and blocks this attack. And then it takes several seconds to automatically investigate. Look, I didn't stop this PowerShell process. Checkpoint Harmony endpoint did, because within few seconds it actually investigated what happened on the machine, and it automatically cleaned it. This is an example of such a report from the same attack. You can see that when you open the alert, the status of the attack is already cleaned. Severity is now low because we have just cleaned it. There is no more any risk, no any threats for your environment. And we provide complete details of what happened on the machine, the detailed tree, because we automatically correlated everything. We provide the MITRE matrix with all the details, and very important, we provide you with the information how we cleaned and how we quarantined everything on that machine. So to summarize, whenever you decide to test Harmony endpoint, whenever you decide to run a POC, we are here for you to help you with this additional new amazing proof of value tool. Not just proof of concept, but actually proof of value. So you can actually test EDR capabilities end to end. All right, now let me jump into another area. So if you are not ready for the discussion of replacement of your existing EDR, maybe you're happy with that, maybe you're using Defender, CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, etc., you name it, Palo Alto, and it kind of feels like the goal is achieved, but still you understand that there are phishing attacks which other EDRs are not capable to prevent. There are malware downloads, so you don't want to wait until your EDR catches malware. You want to prevent it from happening. And there are other interesting areas of discussion. So now we need to shift to the browser protection. Whether you would like to replace your existing EDR or you would like to put an extra layer of security on top of it, we have Harmony Browse, our browser protection, which is important. So Ariel has nicely presented all the advanced capabilities of Harmony, Mail, and collaboration, and it covers end-to-end everything related to Office 365 or G Suite, corporate email, corporate messengers, etc. But as I said, it's just roughly 70% of the attacks, which start with corporate email. What about the rest? What about your users browsing internet and accidentally clicking something? What about those phishing links and malicious links which ask a user to also input CAPTCHA or to click something or to input an additional password? It is very simple for a user to follow the instruction of an attacker, but it's not so easy for a, let's say, a streaming solution to protect. This is why, again, the browser is the last line of defense. This is where we can analyze those web pages, we can catch what is downloaded, and we can also control the use of GenAI. The solution is called Harmony Browse. It's either included into Harmony endpoint, or it can be used as a separate solution on top of your existing endpoint security without any conflicts. And it provides everything you need, from URL filtering to anti-phishing to download protection to DLP, GenAI control, password reuse protection, because Ariel has mentioned that many people are, they're lazy. They use the same password on all the different websites. We have all this in the solution, which you can install on top of your favorite browsers. We are not proposing to replace your browser with some corporate browser and then teach everyone to use it because you said so. Instead, you have Microsoft Edge, you have Chrome, you have Safari, you have Firefox, you have Brave. We just inject our security into it and provide end-to-end protection. So this is how it looks like. I'm going to jump into the management and I'm going to show you the plugin. This is the plugin which is automatically installed into protected browsers. We can intercept downloaded files and we can use sandboxing and proactive cleaning in prevent mode. We analyze all the websites with zero-day phishing protection powered by AI. Of course, you have all sorts of controls such as protection from password reuse. When the same password is used on different websites, you can control that. You have URL filtering with all the different categories, so you can control which websites are used. But guess what? There is a very important website, or rather a collection of websites that people are especially obsessed lately with. These are GenAI chatbots, all right? So for that, you have DLP, you have GenAI Protect capability, which can give you visibility into all the different GenAI tools that people are using today. Nana Banana, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Mistral, etc., you name it, Gemini, there are so many. You can, first of all, we give you visibility, so you understand different use cases, how people use it, for which purpose. You can see even specific prompts if you wish, what users have done with the particular GenAI. You can see sensitive data leaking in those prompts. And let me remind you that once you send a prompt or you send a file to Cloud GenAI, it uses it as a data set. So it trains on your, constantly training on your prompts. So when you leak information to those cloud resources, this information can be reused to serve other clients. So pieces of your internal sensitive documentation or communication can be leaked to any random person on this planet using the same GenAI. This is a serious risk and you cannot control it after it's leaked. You have to prevent. So we give you this visibility, and afterwards you can configure the policy to actually start actively blocking it. And let me show how it might look like. So when you type a prompt or you submit a file, we analyze and we can block if it's sensitive. But we also now have additional feature, which is called redact. So in your prompt, if there is, for example, username, password, some sensitive patterns, we can replace these pieces of code with some generic substitute, and user can continue using GenAI without risking leaking sensitive information. So basically, instead of just blocking everything, and forgetting that GenAI exists, you allow your users, your marketing, your business users, your developers, etc., to leverage GenAI and be competitive and be effective, but at the same time control what they are doing and ensure that they are not leaking something very sensitive to those services. So the solution is very simple. It's a lightweight agent which can coexist with any third-party security software. It automatically deploys this browser plugin across all protected browsers, and you are safe. Very simple and nice. And Harmony Browse is a nice add-on on top of Harmony Email and Collaboration. So together, we're gonna cover corporate email, personal email, all sorts of browsing, etc., preventing phishing and malware across the board. And again, it's an additional security layer on top of your existing EDR solution focused on prevention and not just detection and response. Here's the real world example. My customer in UAE, a government organization which conducted a very thorough POC of Harmony Mail and Collaboration several years ago. We basically blew their mind with all these phishing and malware detections, and eventually we replaced Microsoft ATP and also Ironport. And now they are adopting DMARC and SPF management as we speak. But they, unfortunately for me, fortunately for them, for some reason, politically, historically, they are a happy customer of CrowdStrike MDR, and it's totally fine with me because they have areas where we can be helpful. Our goal is to make sure that our customers, our partners are happy, that we provide the security coverage that they need. And in fact, they raised valid concerns when they saw our click-time URL protection. They were amazed. But then they started asking, what about the other attack vectors? How do we cover our web security altogether with URL filtering, anti-phishing, download protection? And now they are happily adopting Harmony Browse together with with unified operations with the other security solutions from Checkpoint and non-Checkpoint, which is totally fine with us. So to summarize, Harmony family from Checkpoint Infinity portfolio introduces unique solutions for email, for workstations, for servers, for mobile, for SASE, etc. All of it is called workspace security today, according to Gartner's strategy. And we are happy to assist you. We are happy to help you with the POCs. And I think this is the perfect time to move to the questions. Thank you so much, colleagues. So, est-ce que nous avons des questions?
Merci. Ariel, Alexei, thank you very much. Oui, nous avons quelques questions. So centralized quarantine management will be available with Harmony endpoints on the Infinity portal directly. Could you provide us with a way to replicate this POV with Invoke Atomic, please?
Yes, yes. So you can reach out. We will, of course, share the recording and the slides and contacts of Murat, myself, and other colleagues. You know, we have a very large office here in France of our colleagues. So we're going to help you. It's a very simple process. We will create you the environment. We will give you the ready-to-use POV policy, which you import, and in 15 or 20 minutes, you can already start playing with all these beautiful tools. So yes, for sure, please reach out.
We have maybe the time to answer another one. There are hundreds of Gen AI chatbot. You made it. How do you control all of them?
Yeah, so as I presented, the solution proactively monitors user activity on different Gen AI websites. Currently, we support hundreds, but very shortly I was told by product management that we're going to support hundreds of thousands. Because, you know, those services, they pop up and very often there are always some new, more popular platforms for different use cases. So we have a category of those websites. We proactively scan and learn them, and we adopt prompt and file submission control. File submission, by the way, inspection works across all the websites, like WeTransfer, Google Drive, etc. prompt submission works across Gen AI tools, and we proactively learn and provide that support.
Maybe a last one. You talked about DMARC, TKIM, and SPF. Particularly about SPF, how do you manage it?
Ariel, would you like to take this question?
Yeah. So with SPF Manage, we will be able to create an entry in your current DNS record, and it will be then redirecting to us where we can encapsulate the different site that you need to have approved to send on your behalf. It's a three steps process, and the system is guiding you through it. You have also, of course, the security engineers that will assist you with implementing that.
Merci. Thank you, Ariel. So, merci à tous pour votre participation si nombreuse. Nous vous enverrons l'enregistrement de cette présentation ainsi que le support de présentation. Il reste encore quelques questions auxquelles on va répondre par ailleurs à chacun d'entre vous. Il me semble que on a fait le tour de la question et nous reviendrons vers vous si vous avez des questions. Vous aurez mes coordonnées dans l'email que je vous adresserai. Si vous souhaitez approfondir certains sujets, n'hésitez surtout pas à me contacter. Thank you very much. Have a
Merci
great day.
beaucoup. Bonne journée. À
Thank
bientôt.
you.